Hill House is the biggest tourist attraction in Wheeler Falls. Actually, it's the only one. Maybe you've heard of Hill House. It's written up in a lot of books. Tour guides in creepy black uniforms give the Hill House tour every hour. The guides will act real scary and tell frightening stories about the house. Some of the ghost stories give me cold shivers. Stephanie and I love to take the tour, especially with Otto. Otto is our favorite guide. Otto is big and bald and scary looking. He has tiny black eyes that seem to stare right through you. And he has a booming voice that comes from deep inside his huge chest. Sometimes when Otto leads us from room to room in the old house, he lowers his voice to a whisper. He talks so low, we can barely hear him. Then his tiny eyes will bulge. He'll point and scream, "There's the ghost. There." Stephanie and I always scream. Even Otto's smile is scary. Stephanie and I have taken the Hill House tour so often, we could probably be tour guides. We know all the creepy old rooms, all the places where ghosts have been spotted. Real ghosts. It's the kind of place we love. Do you want to know the story of Hill House? Well, here's the story that Otto, Edna, and the other guides tell. Hill House is 200 years old, and it's been haunted practically from the day the stones were gathered to build it. A young sea captain built the house for his new bride. But the day the big house was finished, the captain was called out to sea. His young wife moved into the huge house all alone. It was cold and dark, and the rooms and hallways seemed to stretch on forever. For months and months, she stared out of their bedroom window, the window that faced the river, waiting patiently for the captain's return. Winter passed, then spring, then summer, but he never came back. The captain was lost at sea. One year after the sea captain disappeared, a ghost appeared in the halls of Hill House. The ghost of the young sea captain. He had come back from the dead, back to find his wife. Every night he floated through the long, twisting halls. He carried a lantern and called out his wife's name. "Annabelle, Annabelle." But Annabelle never answered. In her grief, she had fled from the old house. She never wanted to see it again. Another family had moved in. As the years passed, many people heard the ghost's nightly calls. "Annabelle, Annabelle," through the twisting halls and cold rooms of the house. "Annabelle, Annabelle." People heard the sad, frightening calls, but no one ever saw the ghost. Then, 100 years ago, a family named Craw bought the house. The Craws had a 13-year-old boy named Andrew. Andrew was a nasty, mean-natured boy. He delighted in playing cruel tricks on the servants. He scared them out of their wits. He once threw a cat out of a window. He was disappointed when it survived. Even Andrew's own parents couldn't stand to spend time with the mean-tempered boy. He spent his days on his own, exploring the old mansion, looking for trouble he could get into. One day, he discovered a room he had never explored before. He pushed open the heavy wooden door. It let out a loud creak. Then he stepped inside. A lantern glowed dimly on a small table. The boy saw no other furniture in the large room. No one at the table. How strange, he thought. Why should I find a burning lantern in an empty room? Andrew approached the lantern. As he leaned down to lower the wick, the ghost appeared. The sea captain. Over the years, the ghost had grown into an old and terrifying creature. He had long, white fingernails that curled in spirals. Cracked, black teeth poked out from between swollen, dry lips, and a scraggly white beard hid the ghost's face from view. The boy stared in horror. Who are you?" he stammered. The ghost didn't utter a word. He floated in the yellow lantern light, glaring hard at the boy. "Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here?" the boy demanded. When the ghost still didn't reply, Andrew turned and tried to run. But before he moved 2 steps, he felt the ghost's cold breath on his neck. Andrew grabbed for the door, but the old ghost swirled around him, swirled darkly, a swirl of black smoke in the dim yellow light.
"No."
"Stop," the boy screamed. "Let me go." The ghost's mouth gaped open, revealing a bottomless black hole. Finally, it spoke, in a whisper that sounded like the scratch of dead leaves. "Now that you have seen me, you cannot leave."
"No."
The boy shrieked. "Let me go. Let me go." The ghost ignored the boy's cries. He repeated his dry, cold words. Now that you have seen me, you cannot leave." The old ghost raised his hands to the boy's head. His icy fingers spread over Andrew's face. The hands tightened. "Do you know what happened next?"